Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite, October 6, 2021. I'm going to be very short and sweet to this review, simply because I'm exhausted. I had a long day at work. I didn't get much sleep last night. I guess because I might have been having nightmares from watching Monday Night Raw, but who the fuck knows? Anyway, just kidding around with you guys. I had nothing to do with watching Monday Night Raw that caused me to have issues with my sleep, but it is what it is. Whatever, it's no big deal. I'll give you guys a short rundown with a little bit of depth analysis and how I felt about the show, just to give you a taste of how I felt. So it doesn't feel so bland and stupid, and give you that World of Wrestling feel that you normally get, only at a very short period of time of a video. I have to say this show was okay. This was not anything like last week's or the episode where they had the Grand Slam episode. I don't think that this came close to those two types of episodes. But this wasn't a terrible show. It was a very light, entertaining, somewhat of good wrestling. The main event was probably the best part of the whole show. The opener of the show with the 4-on-4 tag team wrestling match with Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, and Bryan Danielson versus the Super Elite was an excellent way to open up the show. Unfortunately, Super Elite defeated the Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, and Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson thankfully did not eat the L in this situation. It was Jungle Boy who did. They did a quadruple knee shot to the head of Jungle Boy simultaneously, and putting him out like a light and pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So, good way to start the show. They ended the show just as good as they started it. Unfortunately, the beginning, not the beginning, but the middle part of the show was kind of, average. It was alright. It wasn't nothing special. It wasn't like how it's been lately, but creatively, it wasn't bad. I will give him that. Darby Allin was fantastic. I absolutely love what they did with him. With the interview with Jim Ross to the match he had. Very interesting that he beat a big guy like that. I'll go over the name. I forgot his name, but I've seen him before. In a couple of episodes he's performed. And then he got beaten up by the Pinnacle while they were wearing masks and everything. So you didn't really see their faces, but you kind of knew who the fuck they were. Bottom line, they touched on some good stuff. Darby Allin's getting a great push. Hangman Page got what he needed. Finally, we're getting some fresh faces in pro wrestling, getting pushes on this in this promotion. So I'm really, really ecstatic about that, what happened here on this episode about that. That I will give them. They are pushing good storylines. They're giving MJF and Darby Allin a really good rivalry that could lead to something even memorable long term. And this could lead to MJF and Hangman Page competing over the World Championship. A fresh babyface versus a fresh heel that people aren't very familiar with. So, at the end of the day, guys, they are building new stars. These are the same guys that originated from AEW's roster. And I think that's fantastic. It's about fucking time we got some new faces in WWE or fucking AEW at this point. AEW, look, they may have gotten a lot of the great talent from WWE that just was not being utilized correctly. But let's face it, folks, we need to have new superstars. We need to have people that have never made it to the big time yet. And these three guys, these three guys, Darby Allin, MJF, and Hangman Page, are the three focal point guys that AEW needs to focus on heavily and build into the next Kenny Omegas or Jon Moxleys or what have you. I mean, granted, you're going to see CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and all these other big names they got from WWE eventually become world champion. That's a no-brainer. Does it happen? Does it need to happen right away? Absolutely not. But yeah, Hangman Page, he won the ladder match. He was a surprise guest into the ladder match that nobody knew who it was. He was the wild card, the Joker, whatever the hell you want to call him. And he ended up winning that match, getting an opportunity to be the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. But let's face facts, folks. Full Gear is coming right around the corner. Next month in November, we will see that match take place. That is definitely a guarantee. There's no doubt about it. Alright, so I already discussed about the very first match that took place. Good matchup that took place there. I was very happy about that. Jon Moxley also addresses the ladder match tonight. He's been in a ladder matches before, and Philly is his home base. He's got 3-month-old baby daughter, and she's insane, so he can handle tonight. CM Punk has a segment and comes out. He asks Philly if they're sick of the love fest yet, and he's not. So he's going to keep it going. And he says, "Do you like my Jordans?" He comes from a humble beginnings, and when he became rich, he didn't become rich monetarily based on money. He spiritually became rich, which I thought that was kind of interesting for him to even be saying that, with him being an atheist and all. Thought that was kind of intriguing. But I guess metaphorically he was spiritually rich in the sense. But whatever. I'm not going to go into the, spiritual, religion realm there. That's probably a touchy subject to go into, so I'll just leave it at that. And he thanks Philly for the making him feel at home. He made that his home in 2002, where he performed for Ring of Honor and so forth, and got his big break there. He decides that he's going to challenge Daniel Garcia at Rampage in Philadelphia. He gives an Orange Cassidy kid his Jordans at the end of his segment. So, apparently he's giving out charity to young kids, trying to do the John Cena way, or something like that. Trying to imitate or become the John Cena of AEW. That's funny for me to even say that. We cut to an Arn Anderson segment where he's burning a suit in a trash can, and Arn wants his tie, and Cody gives it to him. Cody is hesitant, so Arn slaps him. He throws his pink tie into the trash can, and that's the end of that segment. Next up, we had the TNT Championship with Bobby Fish and Sammy Guevara. Folks, this was actually a good match. Bobby Fish had a decent moment here on this show, where he's highlighted the proper way, unlike what WWE did with him, and NXT was like a fucking weak link of the Undisputed Era, which I thought was terrible. He ends up losing the match, though, by a GTH. And post-match, we had America's Top Team, Paige Van Vate, and gets in the ring to distract Sammy, and he gets attacked from behind by Scorpio Sky, attacks Sammy, and out comes Fuego del Sol, and he gets attacked too. Out comes Jericho and Hager, and Jericho kicks Junior Dos Santos out of the ring. Lambert hates on Philly as they sing Judas, and Lambert issues a challenge when AEW is in Miami. It'll be a 6-man tag team match between the Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos. This idea I actually kind of like. I think it's interesting. It's a little bit different. I mean, it is a rematch, but it's a rematch with an add-on to it. Junior Dos Santos, a former UFC heavyweight champion who has main evented major UFC pay-per-views, is now going to be on an AEW Dynamite episode. That's pretty fucking badass for AEW. I mean, to get a mainstream face like Junior Dos Santos, if you're a follower of UFC, you know who the fuck Junior Dos Santos is. I mean, if you don't know who Junior Dos Santos is and you're a follower of UFC, I don't know what the fuck you've been smoking lately. Jeez, man. You gotta be out of your damn mind not to know who Junior Dos Santos is, man. He fucking went ahead and faced Cain Velasquez, who was also a UFC world champion, and was undefeated while he was the champ, and got his ass knocked out in the first round in 11 seconds, man. That's amazing. Shit. So, anyway, I'm not going to shit on anyone who doesn't know him. Maybe if you don't know him, it's because you start watching UFC after Junior Dos Santos got out of his prime. So, if that's the case, okay. But go ahead and look him up. You'll see how fucking good he really was. Or if you have UFC Fight Pass, you'll be able to look at his previous fights that he's had in his career. Anyway, back from the break, we have the big announcement and the unveiling of the TBS Women's Championship title. Yes, this is actually a mid-card title for the women's division. Holy shit. Hey, Vince, you may want to go ahead and call up Tony Khan. You may want to get rid of Nick Khan and get Tony, you know? He seems to know what the fuck he's doing with the women's division. On something unlike what you're doing. You're separating tag teams in the women's division. You got fucking tag team that makes no sense. You got freaking women's championship titles on either brand that don't mean jack shit. With the same women that have been at the top for the last 6-7 years. Come on, man. What the fuck are you doing, Vince? Shit. Anyway. So yeah, there's an announcement that is the new title breaking into AEW. It will be when Dynamite goes to TBS. There will actually be a tournament to determine the first champion. I don't know when that tournament's taking place, though. I think it might be taking place before they go to TBS. I'm not quite sure yet, but at the end of the day, man, that TBS Women's Championship looks pretty fucking badass. Anyway, earlier in the day, JR is sitting with Darby Allin. He mentions the heinous words that MJF last week had mentioned, and JR brings up his face paint. Darby retells the story as to why he paints his face, and it's because he was in a car accident with his uncle who died in the vehicle drunk on alcohol. So he felt like a piece of him died. He felt like half of him died because he really loved his uncle. He cared about his uncle. And unfortunately, because of his alcohol issues, he unfortunately got himself killed in a car accident. And Darby Allin, unfortunately, witnessed his uncle dying in front of him. So that can really stun or scar anybody. At any age, really, if you really want to get technical, even if you're an adult, like in your 20s and 30s and what have you, and you have a family member while you're driving the car with them and they end up dead in a car accident with you and you live. I mean, even the fact that you lived and you have somebody that you cared about die, it's really going to fuck you up big time. And it's just something that you got to, recover from and, deal with the situation, unfortunately, that it happened. But at the end of the day, man, you just gotta move on and move forward and, know that they're with you no matter what, even when they're gone. And that's it. Next up, we had Darby Allin going one-on-one with Nick Camarato. This was actually a very short match. By the way, most of the match was on picture-in-picture, which kind of sucked. Match ended actually in a minute and a half right after they came back from picture-in-picture. And the match ended within a minute and 30 seconds after that. So, pretty fucking dumb. Anyway, post-match though, QT hits a diamond cutter on Sting, but Sting pops up and no-sells the move and hits a scorpion death drop, which I don't know why the fuck QT Marshall was there outside of the fact he was just supporting Nick Camarato. It looks like decision-making by Dark Order is going to be determined by a vote now at this point. Folks, this Dark Order thing is going nowhere. When the fuck are we getting Bray Wyatt? I guess you would say, have some patience. Be patient. They're going to tell the story. They're going to reveal Bray Wyatt. They'll reveal his name, what his real name is, and they'll start getting the Dark Order back on track like Brody Lee did when he came into AEW. So, hopefully we get that old vibe of Dark Order and make them into this outsider cult group that make outsiders feel welcome and feel part of something and bring that kind of personality to the gimmick again. I know the Bray Wyatt will be able to bring that into this gimmick most definitely with no problem. All he has to be is fucking Bray Wyatt or The Fiend or some kind of shit and do something like that, and that's all he's got to do. It's that simple. Anyway, Dante Martin is in the ring with Tony Schiavone. Dante Martin issues an open challenge to anyone. The lights go out, actually, and who appears? None other than Malachi Black. And he spits some black mist in Dante's face and then hits the black mass to the skull. Clean shot. And Dante Martin sold the shit out of this spinning back kick. Outstanding work. I don't know if he was selling it or he really was that stunned, but damn, did he look like he got fucked up. Anyway, so he actually goes ahead and accepts the challenge. He'll be facing Dante Martin next week on Dynamite, I believe, is when that match is taking place. We had Ricky Starks standing in the ring with the FTW. He puts it over he puts over the belt's history in Philadelphia. He thinks it's a damn shame that Brian Cage isn't in Philly, or else he'd challenge him, the phony, to a Philadelphia street fight. Suddenly out comes Cage, and he tries to attack Starks, but he ends up leaving with Team Taz, and that's pretty much that. Nothing special there. As you guys can tell, most of this stuff really wasn't all that appealing, especially to me. I didn't find this show to be the greatest thing being built up, outside of what I mentioned, a few things here and there. The rest of it was very light, it was a whatever show, you know? It wasn't complete boredom, but it wasn't super exciting like it has been the last couple of weeks. So, just letting you know. I'm not shitting on AEW like doing like how I did with Monday Night Raw last night, but this show was not exactly what I've been enjoying for the last couple of weeks. But hey, they have their ups and they have their downs, and that's fine. I mean, every company does. It's just, it's swing of momentum. I'm sure next week will be a better show, especially with Hangman Page winning that ladder match. I think that is going to give some boost of interest into next week's episode, most definitely. Hikaru Shida faced Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb turned heel tonight. This was actually shocking. This match was not that bad. I enjoyed this match for what it was. And Serena Deeb put a halt to Hikaru Shida from winning her 50th win in AEW, which is a bit shocking. I thought they were going to give this to her right out of the gate, and unfortunately, I think they're going to make this a fucking bitch for her to win one more match to be a 50-time winner in AEW overall record. If they go that route, they may want to not do it so much like every single week. That would be a bad idea, because then she'd be eating a lot of L's. But like every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe throw her in a match and she loses a match. In that kind of sense, I would be okay with that. Maybe you save this for her to, possibly win the 50th, get the 50th win by Full Gear, maybe, if you want to go that route. I'm not sure. It could be like their second women's match on the card and have her face Serena Deeb in a rematch, or possibly go a different route and have her face someone else. I don't know. But bottom line, this was a good match. Serena Deeb came across very well in this. Very desperate, though, trying to get the win. She went after the knee, put her in a half Boston Crab, and eventually tugged on the knee hard enough to make Hikaru Shida to tap out in this maneuver, and she ends up winning the match instead of Hikaru Shida. So very shocking there. She then took the trophy that was going to be given to Hikaru Shida, and she smashes it over her skull, breaking it in two. No shattered glass or anything like that, just a separated trophy, and that's pretty much it. She looked like she was selling it pretty well, that she got hurt bad, but that was basically all there was in that segment. I already discussed about Darby Allin being attacked by the Pinnacle wearing masks, so I'm not going to worry about that. Lio Rush has a proposal for Dante Martin. Maybe he needs to rinse Rush and repeat. How about he has his people call him? I don't get the whole idea of Lio Rush actually going ahead and having anything to do with this at all. Unless they know each other personally in some kind of capacity. I'm not sure, but I'm not really caring for this idea at all. I don't know what Lio Rush has to do with Dante Martin and Malachi Black, but I don't know what Lio Rush knows about Malachi Black in any capacity. I mean, the guy never had an interaction with Malachi Black. I don't even think they had an interaction on WWE when he was Aleister Black. So, who the fuck knows? And to be quite frank with you, who the fuck cares? Anyway, moving on to the main event, we had the Casino Royale ladder match. This consisted of Orange Cassidy, Pac, Jon Moxley, Andre El Idolo, Lance Archer, Matt Hardy, and the Joker, which was Hangman Page. Again, this was a good main event. Very fun. A lot of good action. Felt like a pay-per-view type of matchup. Overall, everyone in this match was well deserving of winning it, outside of maybe Andrade and Lance Archer. Andrade specifically because of the fact he just got there. He needs some time to build up some credit with the company and just get his name more built up within the company, and that's basically the only reason why I'd say no to that. Lance Archer, I don't agree with even being in this tournament, or not this tournament, this ladder match, simply because of the fact that he's been on a fucking losing streak. I don't know what the hell he even had they had the audacity to put him in this ladder match outside of just fill up some fucking bodies for this match. But other than that, I don't see the point of why he was even in it. And Orange Cassidy and Pac, most definitely, they even mentioned this, they were both challengers for the World Championship this past year at Double or Nothing. So why not put them in this situation where they could have had a shot at winning the #1 contendership? Jon Moxley, a former world champion, cannot keep him out. That would be ridiculous. That's like the only thing they could have added to this was Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho's in the middle of a rival with fucking America's Top Team. So trying to put him to this wouldn't even make any sense. Nobody's going to expect him to even have a shot at winning it. So that wouldn't have been any point in putting him in there to begin with. But at the end of the day, guys, a lot of great action. Hangman Page did a dead shot maneuver off of the top of the ladder through the table, but unfortunately it looked like it hurt him more than it hurt Pac. Andrade was dropped on the back of his head or on his neck onto the ladder set up outside that was stacked, I believe, from the ring apron to the steel steps, and he just landed right on top of that, taking him completely out of the match. Lance Archer and Jon Moxley mostly battled with each other than anything else, especially in the crowd when Lance Archer officially became a not Lance Archer. I think it was Jon Moxley when he got in. I'm not sure. I do know that they battled throughout the crowd. But yeah, that was actually kind of cool. Good stuff there. But personally, at the end of the day, Hangman Page was the big surprise to this match. Crowd was going, dude, cowboy shit. And that's pretty much what happened. He did his shit, and he won the match. Unfortunately, it was over a weird, oddball ending. It really didn't come across like the normal, everyday ladder match that we're used to seeing. Jon Moxley and Hangman Page was battling over trying to get that chip, but unfortunately, it seemed like Jon Moxley either lost his balance or played out that he was stunned and he just fell off the ladder completely. Hangman Page was stunned by the fact that he just fell off with no apparent reason. He didn't think he did enough. I guess he thought he didn't do enough to knock Moxley off, but he ended up falling off anyway. So it was like, holy shit, really? So I guess that's the reason why he had that facial expression on his face. But thankfully, he woke his ass up and said, okay, I better climb this ladder now and grab this chip so I can be the winner of the match, which he did, and that's how the match ended. So congratulations to Hangman Page. I hope his child is healthy and living well so far in this crazy fucked up world we're living in. But yeah. Anyway, man, I hope he walks away with the World Championship at Full Gear. And yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I think Hangman Page and Kenny Omega is long overdue. This should have fucking happened at All Out. But hey, the man was going to have a child, so can't really shit on the fact that the guy was in the middle of dealing with his wife being pregnant. So I'm okay with it. It's no big deal. It was just a small delay for the inevitable, which will have Hangman Page becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. If they don't, I will be extremely pissed off at AEW, but I don't think AEW is that stupid to pass up on an opportunity like this. So anyway, guys, leave your comments down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Hit the like button if you like the video, and hit the subscribe button, of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.